Alrighty. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another video. Um, while the blind playthrough is largely done, there's still some content yet for me to react to. I'm probably going to do a reaction to some of the Snowgrave content. Um, I don't know what future me is going to do exactly as far as compilation goes, but I'm assuming that what you're watching right now is a compilation of my reactions to some extraneous extra material that I missed out on in my original blind playthrough. So that's going to be me reacting to the Snowgrave stuff. It's also me going to do the mic room. I don't exactly know what to expect. I mean, presumably we'll meet Mike. That should be interesting. But also, people recommended that I reload my old save, or my last save for this playthrough, because there's something that gets added after you complete the game. So that's interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna pull that up now, and we'll see what's in store. I think this is the save. Oh. Oh. That was a cute little cutscene. That was so funny. It like reminded me of like I don't know why I'm thinking of Pikmin. Oh, because in Pikmin 2, there's like these little like light beams that you jump into, or something. Yeah, something like that. Nothing said here. Man, I can't believe I did not equip the stupid black shard. Yeah, I'm equipping that now. Oh, and festive. Perfect for jousting. Slay the bad guys. I might have already looked at these in the main playthrough. Minty and festive. Something I was thinking about on the topic of swords is that the Wingblade, if I'm not mistaken, Wingblade, like, let's see, Wingblade, yeah, that's so cool, because what this tells us, because something I pointed out, I think, in one of my videos, I think my most recent theory video, which was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember where I pointed out. But I pointed out that there's unanswered questions regarding why some objects gain sentience and come to life, while others remain mundane objects, like Chris's sword. Like, sure, Chris, the pencil becomes a sword, but it's not a talking sword. It's not a living sword. But what we now can tell, thanks to Susie opening the secondary Dark World, is that it's all about the will of the one who creates it. Because the knight's will was, a particular way, that prevented, that prevented the Wingblades from spawning. They were just regular swords, regular pencils. Quills, actually, probably. But when Susie did it, her will was a bit different. And so some Darkners who were brought to life before were not. And some that were mere mundane objects became living, thinking things. So that is very interesting. And it's also interesting that when we returned to the Knight's version of this world, the Darkners that Susie brought to life remained alive. Wingblades were still living, even though we're back in the regular version of the Dark World. So that almost implies to me that once a Darkner is granted sentience, they stay sentient. Like, they don't, like, it doesn't matter who creates the Dark World from that point forward, that version of the Darkner will always be sentient. However, just because they remain sentient doesn't mean that they align with the new Dark Fountain's purpose. So, like, Susie's version of this world did not allow for entities like Starwalker and whatnot to appear. And so they didn't. However, Starwalker was still Starwalker, he was just a statue. So I guess what I'm saying is, once they acquire sentience, they will always appear as their sentient form. But if they don't, they still run the risk of turning to stone. So I don't know, that's interesting. That's an unexpected twist on things. Because that almost opens the door to the possibility of our mundane equipment coming to life at some point. Like this black shard. I don't know, it's interesting. Let's click this. What's down here? Nah. Wait. You have been kind. Interesting. It's a judgment hall. Return to beginning. Okay. And then I think I need to go down here. Here we go. It glows with knowledge? Anything new here? It's interesting, because this statue is back to just being a statue in this version of the Dark World. Because I don't think there was a second statue over here. Because this is where Jack sits, I'll have to double check the footage. But probably doesn't matter. What is this? Huh. It looks like that thing in Castletown. I'm glad we're acknowledging this, because this phenomena, this weird light that lets you leave the Dark World, that has not been explained. Every time that we've left the Dark World normally in in Chapter 3 and 4, it was through one of the grand doors. Which makes sense. You're literally leaving the building the Dark World is housed in. But this is less explained. A way back to the light world. Yeah, I do know it's that. Did the door to the church crack open? Okay. So, I guess this is just another manifestation of, like... Okay, so if a door to the Dark World opens or closes, so it's not always presented as a grand door. Or, like, there might be a grand door up in the sky or whatever, we just can't see it. Is my mic recording? Yes, it is. Okay, so what's interesting, though, is that in Chapter 1, when we fell down, the door was shut behind us. And so, when we first visited Ralsei's Castletown, the beam of light that lets you leave to the surface was... it wasn't there. Because whoever had trapped us in the Dark World had closed the door. But now when we go to that Castletown, we leave the door open, and so we're able to leave through this beam of light. Also, now that we know Chris has accomplices, that pretty much confirms, or heavily implies, that either the mayor or the knight trapped us in the Dark World in Chapter 1. Which is interesting, because that implies that... Because if they wouldn't have any reason to do that if they were working together with Chris. The only thing that makes sense there is if they needed Susie for some reason. What if they're grooming Susie to replace one of the members of the prophecy? Like, that's the mayor's master plan. Because the vibe the mayor gives is... I'm going to go on a limb and say that it's probable that the mayor's motivation has something to do with saving Des. Either Des is dead, then she wants to resurrect her, or she's been corrupted and she wants to purify her, Whatever. Or maybe she wants to use some sort of godlike power to reset the timeline and bring her back to life that way. Whatever. Point is, I assume the mayor's trying to save her daughter. Because I don't think she's the kind of person that the dreamers would get along with so well if she wasn't once upon a time just like them, which is to say, someone who just adores her family. So, I reckon that if that's the mayor's motivation, but there's this prophecy, right? So I'm thinking the prophecy requires that some unnamed girl be dead or corrupted or sacrificed, whatever. And the prophecy cannot be prevented, but it can be potentially reinterpreted. We see that in Undertale, where the quote unquote angel from the prophecy has the potential to manifest in a variety of different ways. Like, it can either be literally Azrael as an angel, as a godlike entity, or it can be Kara as, an angel of death. Both fulfill the qualities of the prophecy, but, they're slightly different. So it could be that it's kind of a Doctor Who fixed point thing where like certain points have to happen, but the context can be shifted. So maybe that's the mayor's goal, is she's trying to get Susie, because like they're setting, like, Susie being so happy about having a purpose and being important to the prophecy, that's clearly being set up to be undermined, because that's the sort of angst Toby Fox would indulge in. That's just the angst that I would write. So now that she's like, yeah, I'm an important prophecy person, it's going to be revealed, no, you're not. You're a normal girl. But they're trying to, like, mold you into a hero so that way you can die instead of Noelle or Des or whatever. But there's the bit of a wrench in the plan because Chris unironically really likes Susie. So Chris would only go along with that plan if they had a mutual and equal motivation. And the bottom line is, well, I'm sure Chris cared about Des. I'm not convinced that Chris cared so much about Des that they would be willing to kill Susie for it. But maybe they would to bring back Azrael. So, all roads lead to Azrael's dust. Man, it's so funny. Some of the comments on my videos have been like, oh, his Azrael's dust theory is destroyed. And I find that so funny. Like, maybe there's something revealed. Maybe, I don't know, maybe in the Snowgrave route, Azrael is just like, shows up. He just shows up default dancing and is like, yo, it's me, Azrael. Gangnam style, woot woot, and it's just like, and so therefore my theory is wrong. But unless that's the thing I'm missing, like I've just missed the Azrael cameo, I have not stopped thinking that Azrael's dust is real. So, in fact, the biggest complaints about my original theory were the specific scenario I presented, where it's like, oh, Chris, hid the body or something and hid the truth from their parents and so forth. And like there's like specific details of that people are like, that doesn't make sense. And they're so passionate about it. I think because they don't want Azrael to be dead. And so they're upset that I'm implying that he might be. And I don't know, it's just funny because the details of my of the scenario I presented may be wrong, but I think the core theory of Azrael is dead and bringing him back is Chris's primary motivation is stronger than ever, especially if Chris has an ally as powerful as the mayor. If Chris has the mayor and the Roaring Knight working alongside them, then covering up Azrael's death is child's play. And honestly, I was convinced that Chris could have done it by themselves. But with those kind of allies, then who needs? Yeah, I don't know. I just find it very funny. Like I might be wrong, you know, but until I see Azrael Fortnite default dancing, I'm not gonna buy that. I'm not gonna accept that the theory is wrong just yet. Anyway, sorry, we'll continue. What do we do? Go back to Castletown. Wait. We can't leave now. Toriel might be... Susie, if you stay, I should stay too. Chris, if you're gonna go fast and direct. No messing around. Come back quick, Chris. Okay, so we don't get to do anything in the light world. I see. I hope at least one person out there has found it funny when I've just stopped in the middle of dramatic events to call Gaster. Because God knows I found it hilarious. Interesting. Not letting us explore certain elements. Funky music emerges from the cafe and fills the town. Build the power of Funky Town. Okay. Nice. It's the new squad. Oh wait, no, what am I thinking? These are just the guys from Chapter 3. They were already here. Oh, I can check the new guys. Why did I do this to myself? Okay. I don't want to. I'm not going to. Okay, I'm sorry. I want this to be an easy video to make. I'm sure there's some cute little interactions, but honestly, there might not be. There might be a single line of dialogue. You know what? Okay, dang it. I hate myself. Okay, listen, I'm just going to be real quick. I'm not going to check every combination or anything like that. We're just going to check to see what their baseline dialogue is. Chill, buddy. Gwei sipping the melted wax from the ambient candles. Cute. Oh, I guess we should read their descriptions, huh? A waxy spirit that generates ghastly flames. Though not a real ghost per se, it has an aversion to whips, water, and the like. Element, spirit, fire. I like how they had to clarify it's not a real ghost. It's just a candle. It likes pot roast and dislikes holy water. Oh, but it dislikes water because it's a candle, not because it's a ghost. That's funny. I like... Oh, because Napstablook exists. Ghosts are their own thing. I like how ghosts still don't make sense. Ghosts have never made sense, and they still don't make sense in the Undertale cinematic universe. Whips, water, and the like. So she would... The Gwei would not like... Taskmaster, I guess. Or Task Manager? Task Manager. That's what her name is. An ancient aromancer. It generates magic incense and stores it in its steel shell. Easygoing, it gets along well with Gwei. Okay. Like scent candle and dislike spinning fast. Wait, are the likes and dislikes just a hint to who they have interactions with? Surely not. That would be fascinating if so. Okay, wait. I have to test this theory. I'm so bad. Okay, so... Who has... likes dusty places, and they get on with this guy. Likes paint by numbers. So they're the friendship between Swatch. Wait, does Swatchling actually have an interaction in here? Wait, I'm forgetting now. Okay, so we know Head Hathy likes this one. Supercharged firing. Yeah, okay. I don't think it hints that much, if at all. Okay, whatever. Okay, moving on. Bibliox, an old sage who can't help but mumble. It is rumored that 1,000 spells are kept within his beard. Ancient text, dislikes autocorrect. Element magic. Interesting. Mizzle, the aqua fairy which slumbers in the water cooler, arbitrarily does fairy-like or princess-like things as she pleases. Likes bath bombs, dislikes alarm clocks. Interesting. Wickabell, a witch who engages in musical rituals. Each song she plays is a magical charm that can change one's mood, though isn't that all music? Likes Zen bells, dislikes sight reading. Oh, like with music. Gotcha. The witch's familiar, a living sword. Its greatest delight is being asked to carve graffiti. Likes calligraphy, dislikes authoritarianism. Organic, a philosopher who studies the ancient words. Their light-blocking mask is said to let them commune deeper with the truth of the dark. Oh, that's just a mask. Interesting. Likes instrumentalism. Dislikes knowing what that is. That's great. Miss Mizzle, a regular Mizzle who, after ages of worship, falsely believes herself to be of great royalty, isn't even wholly elemental. Likes reverence, dislikes brutishness. That's funny. Okay, and that's that. Okay, Oh, and actually, let me... Does this have... Relax. Okay. Drinking nothing but straight tea powder. So it had a different reaction because it was with the spirit, and it likes the spirit. Interesting. Oh, the ancient texts. He's reading the menu. That's so funny. Okay, some of these... Booble. She's musically striking the side of the cup with a spoon. Oh, is this tap water? Ho-hum. Okay, and then... Wingblade is the familiar of the witch, so do they have unique dialogue? Buble. Check this out. It's carved your initials in the table. That's funny. Oh, TT. Am I 1% T, or has it become 99% me? That's funny. Okay. No interesting interaction for that guy. And then Miss Mizzle. Oh, young hero, I beseech thee. Where is the VIP chamber? Okay, cool. Again, I'm not going to check every single possible interaction. I'm sure there's something, but I don't want to do that right now. I'll save that for a later video. Oh my god. Also, the cowboy chess piece horse knight is terrifying when it's opening its mouth, I must say. Great music, Lancer. Shame we can't go talk to Sham. Or much of anything, for that matter. Also, how did Lancer get... Oh, no, that makes sense. Lancer was... Wait, does that make sense? Whatever. I'm sure it makes sense. TV. Okay. Mike. 6453, don't forget it. Wait, it's 6453? I thought it was going to be 6453. I thought it was going to be the password that we use in the church. I thought that's the whole reason. Oh. What? How are we supposed to guess this? I guess we weren't supposed to guess this? I'm very confused. Okay, 6453 it is. How would we have figured that out? 6453. Nah, I don't know. You entered the numbers knowingly. So what happens if you enter here with Rouse and Susie? Is it a different scene? It's a statue. Or do they just not come in? This is new music. It's a statue. It has cat ears. Pet it? It's a very tall statue. It has cat ears. Pet it. Surprisingly, you can't reach. That's funny. Oh, it's a bunch of different hats. It's a tall drawer. Like a really tall cabinet? Oh. It seems the mouse is terrified of the statue. You saved the mouse from the cat statue. It considers you its hero. The mouse transforms from admiration. What? It looks like you can use the mouse with the mouse. Oh, wow. What? Yeah, again, I have to reiterate. Instead of making the RPG mechanics deeper, Toby was just like, I'm just going to add 1,000 new mechanics that have nothing to do with RPG stuff. That's quite amusing. I will say it is kind of hard to control both Chris and the mouse at the same time. That's hilarious. Delightful. Oh, there's a secret hat. Is that all there was in here? Oh. TV dinner. Okay. My hats! No. Sag. What a funny mechanic. I'll be honest, this is not what I expected when Mike's Zone. Serious microphone-shaped crystal. Peering into the crystal ball, the thoughts of microphones crosses your mind. Yeah, That is the microphone I am using. Not recommended. X also not recommended. Okay, what madness. What crazy mechanic. Ah! Oh! That's so funny. Okay. So there's some sort of... Oh, it's reacting to my voice! Oh. That's so funny. Great. Oh my god, what goofy stuff has Toby been getting Let's Players to do? That's so funny. Okay, alright, let's... Hey, the heck are you doing here? Didn't you read the door? Yeah, it said Mike. And you still went inside? What? What? You think you're Mike or something? Your Mike? Yike. So you figured it out, did ya? Me Ike, that's right. Was that a Meowth reference? There's only one real Mike. And that's me. Interesting. Oh. Adjust sensitivity. I think this seems fine. Yeah, this seems fine. Mike got pet. Hey, nice to meet you. Motormouth Mike, the microphone who croons and groans. Nice of you to drop by. Not at all. No. Yeah, that's Spampton's leitmotif. Look with your private eyes. This is a private room, see? We're alive. We're on air. You are recording. We are recording. You are background noise. Get out. Well, these 48 volts ain't gonna be just for show. Go up to the applause. Right? Oh, left? This is so funny. Keeps talking loudly as he always does. Oh, Chris is dancing. The mouse offered you a fruit bonus. Aw, yummy. It was effective. That's right, it's me, Mike. Yeah? Always has been, always will be. They call me Motormouth because I never stop talking. Ever! Ha 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 ha! I'm sure you heard me. You did ya? Didn't ya? You can't tune me out. No siree. Yes siree. I'm always on the air, in the air, all around you, even within you. Really? Now get out! You're an oddball. I wonder if Spampton likes you. Azrael's dust. Mike is definitely a microphone. Mike got pet. Mike all day, Mike all night. This is very strange. I'm the best and most beloved. Tennis favorite. Always there for him. Never not there. I'm always there. Never not. Didn't you abandon him? I'm confused. I do his therapy, his psychology, his analogies, his first aid, his last aid. His lemonade, his grenades, his eye drops, his nose drops, his cough drops. I tuck him in at night. I play his bedtime programs. I sing his theme song. And most of all, I record everything he ever says. And even some things he never says. Interesting. Now get out! Ba 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 doo ba da ba doo ba 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 skadoo ba da ba boo ba doo ba doo doo boo boo. This is the strangest thing. Making me sound like a goober. Ah, I was already a goober. Huff puff. I think Mike needs a little break. Yeah? I'll be back in a sec. Where'd Chris go? Oh my god. Mike dances silently, as he always does. What the heck? Oh, it's these cats! A little too into the jazz music. I mean, his eyes are the yellow and pink. Hey, don't look shocked. It's me, Mike. Mike, who famously loves to talk. Wait. I'm going to talk right now. Wait, that's not Mike. I know, listen. Did you hear it? That was great, right? Real verbose. Why does it have the yellow and pink? Mike dances silently, as he always does. Grab the banana. It was sort of effective. So I look a little different. Well, what's the big deal? I just changed my outfit. That little costume was so cramped. I'm very baffled. That's what was tiring me out. I still feel miserable. Miserable. I said miserable. Spampton. Aw, sad cat. Oh, blah, blah. Ah. Blah, 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 blah. Gosh. Alright, that's enough already. This is a crazy way to control a fight. I'm not feeling quite myself. I think I really need to take a break. So, yeah, why does it have yellow and pink eyes? Is it a machine? Is it real? I said I think Mike really needs to take a break. Who was that? What the heck are you? Mike considers manipulating the volume. Oh. I see. Nice to meet you. It's me, Big Mouth Mike. Devs call me Dad. They calls me Dad because I don't shut up, see? This is a private room. We got private eyes. We've been investigating you. We like what we see. Keep it up. Okay. Left. Mike is definitely a cowboy. Yeah, nice to meet you. Some more. I'm still Mike. Big Mouth Mike. Interesting. So, sorry, I mean Motormouth Mike. My name's Motormouth Mike. I'm very confused. Yeah, modern mouth Mike, you know? This is... Nice to meet you. Some more again. It's me. Modern Mike. And my mouth is big because I talk a lot. Motormouth Mike. My name is Motormouth Mike. So are these like goons? Yeah, what he said. I'm Motor Mike. Okay, so are these different normal enemies but who are dressed up as Mike? Ah! 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 What does Mike say next? Don't ask that idiot. You're Mike. Okay, so the cat was probably like just a task. And this. So why can't I say whatever's I want? Alright, that's it. And this is like one of the bouncers, whatever they're called. Look, I admit it. There's more than one Mike. More than one. And now that you know, there's no way we can let you out of here alive. Sounds like feedback. One Mike does all the talking. One Mike is the muscles. And one Mike listens. Oh, I see. So you have a mouth. You're a microphone that's muscles. Okay. Oh. Uh, 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 wow. Mike is definitely question mark. Everyone thinks there's only one Mike. One. But there ain't. There's two. Three. Sorry, I forget him because he doesn't talk. Ah! 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 I clicked out of the screen and I went to my recording software. I hope I didn't pause it or something. Ah! 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 Mics are getting ready to turn it up. Okay, well, before you do that, I need to check and make sure I'm still recording. Okay, I'm just gonna... Okay, I am. I'm gonna minimize that before I accidentally click on something that I shouldn't. Okay. Does it matter who I click on? I guess I'm just gonna keep clicking on the main one. Mike got pet. But we can't let this get out. No. People knew there was more than one Mike. Everybody would want to be Mike. Well, we're not letting that happen. Gosh, I guess no one expected there to be multiple Mikes. Boys, it's time for our ultimate attack. What the heck? Ah! 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 So maybe the mic with the eyes, that ain't so good. Boss, can we just use our normal attacks? What? No, no way. I mean, wait, these are our normal attacks. Alright, take out your gun, buddy. What? Oh, wait, time out, time out. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I admit it. I admit it. I am very confused. I know it's really annoying when Let's Players are like, I don't get it. Or just like, just don't try to analyze. But I am genuinely baffled. So, are there multiple mics or is there one mic? So they were clearly dressed up as mics. But the main guy is the only real mic. I don't know why he dressed them up the way he did. And why he gave one of them the yellow and pink eyes. I admit it. I admit it. It was so hard doing what Tenna wanted. I couldn't do it alone. I needed more mics, and along the way, I forgot who I really was. But you help me remember. I'm the only Mike, the real one. These two guys are fakes. Beat them up. Make them pay for being so stupid. Oh. Okay. Alright, admit it. None of us are actually Mike. We're just kind of in charge of Mike's room, unofficially. Tenna's always talking to Mike, right? Well, you see, sometimes he wants to come to this room and visit him. It's been that way since TV World. But he gets really moody if Mike isn't there and takes it out on us. Now, here's the thing about that. Mike has never been here, not once. And in order to stop Tenna from getting his nose twisted up, we just started taking turns pretending to be him. And you know what the weird thing is? It actually worked. As long as there's a Mike, Tenna actually believes it. Obviously, what's that face? We couldn't let you in here or you'd snitch. But it's too late now. Our conspiracy is busted. Just before you tell Tenna, let me ask you one last thing. Who's Mike? Who is he? So did Spampton ever know the real Mike? Or did he know one of these fake Mikes? Because none of us have ever seen him. None of us, ever. Every time Tenna asks Mike to do something, it's either like he just does it himself, we do it secretly, or it just sort of happens. So who is Mike? Who is he? Is he just Tenna's imaginary friend? Is he Tenna's alter ego? Like some alternate personality or something? Then why the hell does he get so much love and attention? If the weather guys are second in command, what does that make him? Ugh, what if it's us? Us? Yeah, we've been pretending to be Mike doing stuff. What if when we pretend to be Mike, we're actually Mike? What? It's always been us? Then where's the idea of Mike come from in the first place? Beats me. This doesn't make any sense. What about you? You came to this room. Are you Mike? Are you? Huh? Are ya? Are ya? Ah, I give up. As long as someone's Mike's, it'll work out. You don't really like looking at this sort of thing. That could be like a meta joke about theorists, in which case, hi Toby Fox, thank you for watching my videos. Do you think Asriel is dust? I'd love to hear it. Um, but beyond that, also, what's going on with the reflection in the floor? Do you see that? It's like there's something back there. Anyway, but this is also potentially a Chris reference where, because Asgore has a cork board with papers and string and whatever, presumably about deaths, and people investigating this sort of thing maybe stresses Chris out. Yeah, the thing in the floor is changing. Hello. Am I supposed to say something? Is this like the lake thing where I was supposed to sit there unmoving for like 10 minutes or something to get it all? I'm very confused. Yep, don't get it. Guess this is another thing I'm going to have to look up because God knows I don't know what I did wrong. Put on your shoe, hay, and sprint. It's raining cats and cats. Bring chosen ones to the Ark. Controls mouse only. Jungler. Jungler? Jungle cats into the hoop. Your voice controls gravity. Combo with simultaneous cats. Controls mouse and volume. Avoid Batat and gets class with mouse. Volume speed makes blue cat combined for rare cats. Oh, it's just that. It's the Michael bomb. It resets the highest score of all Michaels to 0. Resist the temptation of Michael. Just dancing. Hey, boss, talk to the little guys. I don't know what's up. Hi, Mike, what's up? It's me, the real Mike. Who's Mike? Who knows? It's a tie. Hurry up and get a high score, kid. A few minutes out of this room, and we all decided we couldn't take it. There can't be no Mike, and there can't be more than one Mike. So which one of us is the real one? That's where you come in, see? See, the real Mike would be the strongest, right? So each of us is ready to fight you again, minigame style. The one you can get the most points against, has got to be the real Mike. Pick us with mouse and put us in the center to play. Here's the games. Small Mike, Batat. Use mouse to avoid dangerous Batat. Volume to speed up. Cowboy Hat Mike, Jungler. Use volume and mouse to jungle, follow toys into the hoop. Cat Mike, Pluie. Avoid rain. Click plus hold with mouse to bring cats to the basket. Is there any point to doing this? Or is this just a minigame for the sake of minigames? Okay, so after glancing at a video on the topic, it seems like I didn't really do anything wrong. Like, the microphone appears. I don't think anyone's really figured out what the heck anything. Like, there's nothing else to find here that we know of at the moment at a glance. You can come here if you just logic out the code before the events of Chapter 4. So, like, and the code is literally the numbers corresponding to Mike's name on a cell phone, which is just so... I mean, I guess that's figure-outable. And if you come here before the events of the chapter, you can come here with Susie and Ralsei. Although it doesn't substantially change the encounter. There's like one or two lines they say. And then like in the battle itself, there's like one or two interactions from petting Susie or petting Ralsei, whatever. Honestly, the most notable thing that I saw is that when you first gain the mouse as a mouse ability, Ralsei will say, Chris, you can control the mouse, M-A-U-S, by using your mouse, M-O-U-S-E. Which seems like a big ol' crazy detail. Like, it's one thing for Ralsei to know about saving and loading. It's another thing for him to know about what a computer mouse is. Then again, maybe he doesn't. Ralsei knows some things, but there's also big blanks in his knowledge. It's like maybe he knows that you control the mouse with the mouse, but he doesn't necessarily know what a mouse is. Because, like, it'd be kind of I don't think it would make sense for him to know that we're playing on a computer game. Because not even Flowey knew that much. Like, meta knowledge. So I think the only option is that either A, there's huge gaps in Ralsei's knowledge, and that's the issue here, or there's a much grander plot here. So in Undertale, there's 3 entities wrapped up in one, which are Frisk, the player, and Kara. So you have a human, a dead person ghost entity that kind of latches on, and a human from the real world. So Chris is the Frisk. That much is obvious. The ghost clinging on to their soul. Well, it's weird because, in a way, Chris is not filling the role of Frisk. It's more accurate to say they're filling the role of Kara. Like, they're the adopted child of the Dreamers, sibling to Asriel. So, interesting. Okay. I remember I had a theory involving Gaster and something involving time travel and maybe a human from the future. The details, it made sense to me. I think it had to do with the way that the player clearly exists diegetically in this setting. And I had thought that meant we were playing as Asriel. And that makes sense still. But the issue that arises is that whoever Gaster is talking to can't be the person. I don't think it can be Asriel. I mean, I guess it could be. I don't know. I gotta figure stuff out. Anyway, that's I think that's it. I think that's all that we can see by going back in. Took you long enough. Hope you had a good time, Chris. It's a pillar of light. Interesting. Okay. Presumably this video is going to be a combination of reactions to various videos and stuff, not just to the mic stuff. So I assume that's where we're going to cut to next. So, huzzah! Alright, I've got a video pulled up for me to react to. It is 2 Left Thumbs, Deltarune's Snowgrave / Weird Route, all Chapter 3 and 4 differences video. I got permission from the channel to react to this, so I'm going to do that. I'm not going to be showing, obviously, their entire video and the reaction. I'm just going to show the parts that are specifically the new content and my immediate reactions to them. So, you know, obviously don't want to show any more of someone else's video than I absolutely have to. So yeah, let's take a look. I'm excited to see what the heck happens on the Snowgrave route in these chapters. So let's take a gander.
After doing the second board of Chapter 3, when given the option to check on Susie or Ralsei, there's a difference in dialogue if you follow up with Ralsei. You talk about...
Okay, so there's not a true Snowgrave route in the new chapters, from what I'm hearing. And that lines up with what I've heard from my supporters on Patreon and YouTube. It does not seem like this is something that, you know, there's not a full-blown, you know, turn Toriel evil and have her burn people alive route or whatever. Okay, just mostly minor differences, but God knows the devil is in the details, and I would love to see what these small dialogue differences are, so I will continue now.
The festival, and you say you intend to go with Noelle. On a normal route, Noelle? I'm sure if Susie was with you too, Noelle would probably really appreciate it. I'm sure the 3 of you would have a lot of fun. If it's the 3 of you. And instead, on the Snowgrave, Noel?
Okay. So I don't think I saw that dialogue whenever I was doing it myself because I didn't choose this route. It's interesting that Rouse is so keenly aware of the fact that Noel likes Susie, even though Rouse's interactions with Noel have been relatively minimal. Then again, it's not exactly subtle what's going on there, is it?
Chris, I think that's a bad choice. I mean, I'm sorry, a bad choice to make alone. Noel might want to go with Susie. I hope you can figure out a nice solution, with the difference ending when Susie rejoins.
Okay, so that is interesting because it pretty strongly confirms that Rouse is aware of what you did on the Snowgrave route, despite not being present for that route himself, which is interesting. Again, he has knowledge that he shouldn't have. And this isn't even a case of, prophecy knowledge. It's a case of he specifically only says this if you're doing Snowgrave route. So how? How could he possibly know this? Yeah, I don't... I'm not sure what to make of that. I think the only real explanation I can provide is that it's time loop stuff, I guess? Or he was told. Someone told him. But wait, I just remembered. When we do the thing where we watch what Susie's doing from afar, and Rouse says, close our eyes and see what Susie's doing, it almost always, when you do it to see, the scene with Noel and Susie interacting, if you don't do it, Rouse says, oh, but what happened in the room with Noel? I don't know what happened. But if you do it, he does know what happened. So clearly he's able to piggyback on... Oh. Okay. You know what? That makes sense. Yeah, because if Chris took Azriel's soul and Rouse is made from Azriel's dust, then there being some ethereal connection there that lets him peer through Chris's eyes, or at least through the soul's eyes, makes perfect sense. Wow. Rouse's dust keeps on winning, explaining inexplicable phenomena left and right.
And in the Snowgrave route, there are 2 lines inserted towards the end. No, part of you is just enjoying this, isn't it? The same part of you that enjoyed yesterday, knowing you could say it wasn't really you. Oh, don't make that sour face. And the last couple lines resume from there. Before I move into chapter 4...
Okay. The same part of you that enjoyed what you did yesterday. The part of you that could say, oh, it wasn't me. Interesting. Snowgrave route takes on such a drastically different and I'd say even more interesting dichotomy. I really gotta avoid using that word. I'm pretty sure I misuse it. It takes on a totally different... It's... I'm at a loss for words. The way we view Snowgrave really changes a lot with what we've learned in these new chapters. Because in the first 2 chapters, Chris could still be seen as this mostly innocent victim. We're the bad guy. We, the player, are the bad guy. for possessing Chris, for inserting ourselves into this world. And a lot of people you'll see in Let's Plays who are like kind of keyed into this are like, oh, poor Chris, poor Chris. But by the time we get to these chapters, and it becomes clear that Chris is almost certainly aligned with the Roaring Knight and the Mayor, and it suddenly raises the possibility that Chris is one of the antagonists, and that we are the good guy. It's not a coincidence that the prophecy says that the hero is not the human, it is the human soul and parts. The cage. The cage with human soul and parts. Like, I don't know. It just the way it's phrased very much makes it clear that Chris is not a cut and dry protagonist, a cut and dry good guy. Like, they may have sympathetic goals, and they may come around to our side in the end, but for the moment, for the time being, it seems like it may be a case of, like, and like, it kind of really extra gets hammered home with what we see with Susie in her conversation with Noelle when we're hiding in Dessa's closet, where Susie has befriended Chris, but specifically the possessed version of Chris. And while Chris may genuinely like her, and the player may or whatever the soul is may genuinely like her, at the end of the day, both entities combine to make up what Susie sees as Chris. And it may simply be that, you know, there may come a time when it's the player carrying, like Susie has to carry the soul to fight Chris or something along those lines. And that's an interesting thought. And I don't know, it just it shifts the dynamic of the Snowgrave route away from, look at this evil thing we're forcing Chris, the poor innocent victim, to do, and takes it in a drastically different direction. Because the way we encounter the secret boss, the Shadow Mantle entity, I should probably find out what the community name is for that thing yet by now, so I can stop referring to it as just the Shadow Mantle entity. We encounter it in the bunker, or, you know, a version of the bunker. And that's a place that Chris seemed to go at the end of Chapter 3. And it just sort of seems like Chris is generally aligned with whatever's down there, the knight, whatever, the mayor. And that seems to imply that Chris is aligned with this Shadow Mantle entity. So the fact that that entity pokes fun at Chris for doing the Snowgrave route is fascinating. Because this is the closest we've gotten to hearing the antagonists comment on Chris's behavior. Of course, whether the Shadow Mantle entity represents the one of the primary antagonists, or instead may just represent some sort of, I don't know, some sort of different entity, something associated with Gaster, maybe? I don't know. It's weird, because it summons friends to attack you, and friends are certainly associated with Gaster. But I don't know so much about this thing. I don't know. It's just weird, because like I can't... In the previous game, in Undertale, there was a very clear dynamic of, like, who were the good guys and who were the bad guys, and who was aligned with who, as far as, like, the No Mercy route versus the pacifist route. Whereas, you know, in this game, it's like, whose side are you on when you do the Snowgrave route? Is doing the Snowgrave route beneficial to the mayor's plans? Is doing the Snowgrave route beneficial to Noelle? Is doing it aligning yourself with the Kara evil route? Is the Snowgrave route aligned with what Chris wants? You can probably say yes or no to some of these things, but I'm starting to wonder if the goal of the Snowgrave route is to make Noelle stronger. Then I don't know. Okay, you know what? I should stop speculating. I haven't even gotten through the rest of the video yet. Let's see what else Two Left Thumbs can share. It might answer some of my uncertainties here.
Chris Meister, hey, what's the deal, snowmobile? Huh? Locked out? Noelle wasn't stuck outside the gate again, was she, Chris? Carol, damn, I keep telling her to keep a key at City Hall. But she insists on keeping everything important at home. Like when Noelle was a kid, she made paper snowflakes for Carol to hang up at work. But Carol just wouldn't take him there because she wanted to keep the damn things safe. She preserved him and stuck him up on the wall at home. Of course, you know Noelle. She had to cry over that until she went and made snow angels with you guys. After that, she forgot she was sad at all. Anyway, what was I saying? And talking to him once more. You know, this morning, Noelle was saying, I wonder if Chris is going tomorrow too. Just make sure she has fun, alright? Chris, you came over to check on me?
Interesting. That's interesting, because the way he winks at Chris, it almost seems like Rudy thinks she's into Chris. I don't know. Because, like, Snowgrave has always had this kind of strange, toxic romance angle going on to it. And that's not even, like, me reading into it. Like, that's just, like, when you really dig into, like, the dialogue and the context surrounding it. Like, I discussed it in my Spammed It video. But, like, it very much comes across that way. So, Rudy kind of further hinting at that here is interesting.
That's really nice of you. Do you think I could talk to you later? Key? Yeah, I think I was singing a bit off key. Can you blame me for being distracted? In a normal route, after gathering the information, Susie comes up with the idea of approaching Noelle and pitching her the idea that we should...
It's interesting that Noelle would voluntarily want Chris to come over. And she says something about, do you blame me for being distracted? I don't know, this is kind of... This is strange. It's weird. Like, yeah, okay, continue.
And instead, the Snowgrave scene. The mayor is Noelle's mom, right? Maybe if we tried... Chris, and Susie? Would you want to come by my house and work on our projects after church? Huh? Yeah, of course. Great. I'll, go bring my dad back to the hospital. Cool, that's, awesome. See you later. Too easy, right? Boom! Give me 5. What's up? You, got something against Noelle, Chris? Like, hey, maybe things took a weird route right now. I mean, who'd expect she'd ask us like that? But we should be glad it's going so fast, right? Right? Hey, how about some of the red stuff, no? Your loss. Know you're gonna want it later. Let's just go already. Toby, you maniac, just writing weird route directly into the dialogue?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Okay. Yeah, in the normal route, Chris does the high five, I'm pretty sure. And Noelle's like, what? But Chris isn't on board with the Snowgrave stuff, obviously. Um, hmm. Noelle just walks up and invites them over. And she seems drastically more confident in this storyline than she was in the normal route. In normal route, she's like spitting up her drink and freaking out just Susie talking to her. In this one, she just walks up and is confidently invites them over, doesn't bat an eye. What does that say about her character? That's fascinating.
And I think it's significant that Noelle interrupts this conversation precisely before Susie says, "It's like the holidays got frozen in place." There's already so many clever things that play with that line. The holidays being frozen in place, and their family name is the Holidays. So both their decorations are frozen and themselves as a family emotionally mourning the loss of Des.
That's an interesting point. Good thought. 2 left thumbs. Also, it does kind of... There is something kind of spooky about the fact that the concept of the holidays being frozen, as in getting snowgraved, is being suggested. Like, are we implying that at some point in the snowgrave route, that's what Noelle's gonna do? Maybe not even for hostile reasons. Maybe she's like, oh, I'll keep my dad alive by freezing him. I'll keep my mom from getting in my way by freezing her, stuff like that.
If you visit the hospital, your friend? He's still... In any case, thank you for bringing him in yesterday.
Whoa. Whoa. Interesting. Chris obviously was opposed to what happened to Birdley, and so when they took control at the end of chapter 2... Wait. What happened at the end of chapter 2? That was when Chris made the Dark Fountain. When did Chris have the chance to bring Birdley in? What? Because you abandoned him in the computer lab. So your only opportunity to do that would have had to have been... It would have to be either immediately before TV World or immediately after. Like either after Susie and Toriel go to sleep, Chris snuck out, dragged Birdley's body to the hospital, or... Actually, either way is confusing. Huh? I'm baffled by that. That's a baffling detail.
What? You want to go in by yourself? Whatever. Which, we have confirmation, after all these years, Birdley did not die. He's just seemingly in a coma or roughed up real bad. He's breathing slowly. Might be your imagination, but he seems cold. If you leave him, nothing happens. Or you may heat him up. You changed the hot water bottle on his head. He's breathing slowly, might be your imagination, but he seems more relaxed. You turn on the space heater to a higher setting. Birdley's in there, right? Don't give me bird flu or whatever he has. And in a normal route, going to the library.
Okay, okay. So he's in a coma. Whatever we did to him in the Dark World. Yeah, I don't know. This is so fascinating. This is a lot to process. I'm not sure. Maybe there's some point I missed where Chris would have had the chance to take Birdley to the hospital. Oh, I guess it could have. Oh, that's a bit dubious. Technically, when Chris snuck out to cut the tires. Actually, we assumed Chris cut the tires. It's possible, since they have like 200 accomplices now, that Chris went to bring Burley to the hospital and the knight or the mayor went and cut the tires. So technically, that's not as impossible. I think that's the most logical interpretation, because the hospital is presumably closed, or at least not accepting visitors at night. So doing it right before they settle down for bed would make the most sense, I think. That, yeah. But as far as Birdley State, it's interesting that you can do these little nice things for him, and that it seems to have an effect, a positive effect. Huh. Fascinating.
Instead, here, the library is closed this weekend due to a lack of volunteers. When you sit down on the couch...
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. And I do know, I've just because I saw like a snippet of it, that if you, because like in the final fight against Queen in chapter 2, you can either rescue Birdley through violence or through, pacifism, in the fight against Queen in her chair, where Birdley has a plug on his face. And if you use violence, then Birdley's arm gets fried. And so, similar to Snowgrave, Birdley's in the hospital, but he's not, in a coma. He's, he has like a cast, or whatever you call it, like a arm in a sling, because, his arm got messed up. Did I ever make a video talking about my theory on like the nature of souls and, not the nature of souls, but the nature of their bodies when they're in the dark world? Yeah, I did do a theory on that. So, in theory, like, my theory held that, like, when you go to the dark world, you become energy. You become some sort of ethereal substance, basically a manifestation of your soul. And the idea that, the reason Chris's soul can leave their body still is because, Chris has a super soul. You can either blame that on them being human, or them having absorbed Asriel, or whatever you want, or just the player if you want to go full meta. But for whatever reason, Chris's soul can literally leave their body as a tool. It's not just a metaphorical representation like it probably was in Undertale. In Undertale, you use the soul, but it's not really being suggested that your soul leaves your body the way it does for Chris. It's more so implying that, like, it's a metaphorical representation of you. Like, their magical attacks of monsters attack your soul, rather than attacking your body, because monsters are too weak to physically harm you, so they have to attack your soul. So it's just sort of a metaphorical representation. Like, when you block spears from Undyne with the soul, it's not that your soul, like, popped out of your chest, picked up a spear, and is protecting you. It's that Frisk is protecting themselves from the spears with a spear. It's just represented metaphorically for gameplay purposes. Whereas, as we've seen in cutscenes, and a variety of sequences, the soul is literally leaving Chris's body, which is why Susie can comment on it. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But the point is, by damaging you in the dark world, it's damaging your physical form as well. But only Burley takes permanent damage. And part of that may be because no one heals him. Like, in the Snowgrave route, he stays frozen, and in the neutral route, he gets wounded, but Rousey doesn't heal him for some reason, because Rousey also doesn't like Burley, I guess. I don't know why. He's clearly a Giga Chad pro gamer who's on the Sigma male grind set, so I don't get his distaste. But I digress. Yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting because, why would the water bottle help? Why would that make Burley more relaxed? Maybe just because it's Chris, the real Chris, trying to be kind, I guess. Hmm. Interesting.
Noelle still receives a call to interrupt, but this time it instead comes from her mother. Hi mom, what's up? Yeah, I took dad home, so it's just, me here. Huh? No problem. I can probably just cook something. Gosh, mom, I'm not gonna burn myself. Okay, see you later tonight. Sorry, should we go ahead and start our projects? Wait. Huh? Don't we need more, like, stuff? Like, paper, pencils, project stuff? Chris.
Okay, I gotta pause for a second there. Um, it is extremely interesting that Noelle is called by her mom instead of Birdley, given what we now know. Now, you could say, oh, her mom tried to call, but, it didn't go through because Birdley was already on the line. And then her phone got thrown away, and so, you know. But that kind of implies that the mom gave up after one phone call? Kind of weird. It seems very clear that the mayor and the knight and Chris are aligned against the soul. And the soul is what's doing the Snowgrave route. So it's interesting that one of Chris's accomplices is picking up the slack and helping progress this sequence. I'm not entirely sure on the logistics of that, of if that's intentional or not. But especially since it doesn't seem to serve any real purpose here. But it's still interesting.
Chris, you should, go look for it. Gosh, you're right, Susie. Chris, I think there was some stuff in my room, if you wanted to go look. Very smooth, Noelle. It is at this point that Chris would normally rip out the heart and go stash it in the gift room. In the Snowgrave route, they are interrupted. Chris, are you up there? Cramming it in the drawer. Chris, there's something I'd like to talk to you about. Just the two of us. If you don't mind, I mean. I'll be in my room, okay? Chris retrieves the heart and then goes and stashes it in the gift room, same as before.
Okay. This is shocking to me. Not what is shocking to me? I had seen like screenshots or thumbnails showing these two on the couch in this room, and I thought it was the soul possessed Chris who was doing something sus in this scene. But no, the soul is out, which makes this way more interesting. Okay.
Or a chance for us to be alone all day. There's something I want to talk to you about, Chris. I want to talk to you about last night.
Flashback?
Last night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, all I could see was snow. I was terrified, Chris. Terrified it was all real. I went out on the porch to breathe, and that's when I felt it. A hand on my wrist. I froze. And then I heard your voice. Chris's voice. You said, "Sorry for taking your watch, Noelle." You said it was all a stupid prank. You said Birdley is going to get better. And you put the watch back on my wrist.
Okay. Whoa. Well, that confirms it then. When Chris snuck off out the window, at least in the Snowgrave route, they didn't just cut tires. They went and saved Birdley, went to Noelle's place. But Noelle couldn't sleep. Was this still that early in the day? Huh. It has to be. Has to be. That's the most logical opportunity for this to happen.
You said, sorry for being weird at the hospital, Noelle. You said it was all a stupid prank. You said Birdley was gonna get better. Chris, your voice, your deadpan, mumbly voice. Even if you sounded kind of weak and shaky, I don't know why, but it felt so long since I heard it. I even started sniffling. Chris, you're back.
Okay. So that confirms we already kind of suspected with the way Chris is shuffling around like a zombie. But they are weaker without the soul. And we already knew from that call with the mayor/knight that for whatever reason, Chris needed the soul to go to the dark world or something to that effect. Possibly because something weird would happen to them if their soul was not in their body when they entered a dark world. Because at that point, are they really a person entering a dark world or an object, you know? There could be some disturbing consequences for doing that. But even ignoring that, you use the soul primarily as your primary defensive tool in combat. So without the soul, you're probably Chris stands no chance. They don't have the strength necessary to combat the threats that they're facing. Interesting.
Chris, thank you. Well, no thanks for pranking me, but... Chris, can I say something else? When you were first presented with a dialogue choice, your heart that had been up in the vent is now down in this menu. And when you select proceed...
Whoa. That's nuts. Oh my god. Okay. The soul teleported physically in the real world because of a dialogue box. Okay. That has incredible ramifications because it has connected the meta concept of a dialogue box with the physical reality of the game. And I'm not sure how to process that. I pray that it doesn't actually physically teleport because the ramifications are a little too intense. Maybe it'll appear back in the event in a second. Okay, let's proceed.
It stays down on the screen. You now have a limited window during this conversation to bring the heart back over to Chris. Noelle's eyes are closed and she doesn't notice. Chris, there was something else you did. Something else I have to ask you about. After you said all that, you took my hand and pulled a thorn out of my finger. Then you said that when I saw you again, you said not to mention you did any of this. Or, you can see Chris's hand shaking and twitching here. Chris, it's okay. It's just us. You just said not to mention any of that, because it'd get heard.
Oh my god. The soul physically teleported. Okay. The soul physically teleported and then rejoined with Chris. And Chris told her not to say this because it would be heard by the soul. Chris is actively trying to stop us. Took a thorn out of my hand. This is nuts. This is insane. I'm actually kind of losing it a little. I'm not sure how to process this. Okay. Okay. Let's continue.
Chris, it's okay. It's just us. Who's going to hear? Me.
Excuse me? Excuse freaking me? Okay. Okay. Chris's hair changed color. This is... I don't... Oh god.
Chris, your voice. Chris, that's another joke, right? That voice, how? That was my dream. Because it wasn't a dream. Sorry, Chris, what did you say? I must have misheard you. No, there's no way they heard. There's no way they heard my thoughts. I heard. What are you talking about, Chris? I didn't say anything. It's impossible. That's impossible. It's just a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. If you didn't hear me, say red or blue. Say green or black. Say it didn't happen. Say it didn't snow. You're lying. You're lying. Now becomes stronger. Chris, what did you say? Quit. Chris, what is that? Proceed. Chris, that's not the thorn, is it?
Oh. The thorn. The thorn was the thorn ring. Of course it was. Of course. Okay. Okay.
That's not the thorn ring, is it? Proceed. Chris, come on, you still... What about last night? What about... Didn't you want to protect me? Proceed. Why can't I move? Why can't I look away? Noelle, do something! Equip. Chris, I think I have to... Equip. Chris? Now, interestingly, when the game first came out, it sprayed a bit of blood, and kind of looked a little bit like a rose. It was a pretty cool effect, but it was getting commonly misinterpreted among the fandom, and a new animation was added a few days later, one that's a little bit more dramatic, looking closer to a red crack shattering across the screen. Everything fades to black for a few seconds.
Again, a rose, pretty common symbol of romance, just throwing that out there. Cracking across the screen is perhaps even more meta madness, considering that means it was breaking across the physical monitor that we're using. Well, that was horrifying. Man, I did not want to show this much of the video in my reaction, but I'm kind of just flabbergasted and horrified. Jesus Christ.
Chris then stumbles into the bathroom. The camera is a blur. The lights are cutting in and out. The heart is tossed in the trash can, and Chris kicks it around the room, smashing it repeatedly, with increasing aggression. Asgore interrupts. Chris, are you okay in there? Just thought I'd let you know. Mayor Carroll is asking everyone to leave. And, I thought you looked a little down today. So, I made a special treat for you. Your friend and I will be waiting for you outside with it. Feel better, Chris. The heart is retrieved, we gain back control, and almost immediately stumble. There's nothing to be interacted with in this room, and as we leave, we are immediately sent outside. The winds are blowing loudly. Chris, how are you doing? Chris, if you aren't feeling your best, perhaps you should just go straight home and rest. Here, I borrowed some sweets and made you a hot chocolate. It's your favorite. Marshmallows, melted candy bars, and a little pinch of cinnamon spice. You got the hot chocolate. See you around, Chris. Guess we can go. So hey, while you were keeping Noelle busy, I looked inside that room next door. There was this weird guitar in there, and on the inside of it, there was a code to the shelter. Didn't get to write it down though. When I went to the living room with it, your dad caught me, started talking to me until Noelle's mom showed up, super pissed. Great, the hell are we gonna go back there now?
There's clearly a hard cut after whatever we do to Noelle. And presumably in that time, Chris contacted the mayor and was like, you know, code red. Code freaking red. Interesting.
Well, what the hell do we do now? Great, now it's raining. At least your house is close. Let's go. We first head up to the house. Huh? Hey, the door's locked. Seriously? Ugh, you don't have a key? Damn, well, your mom's doing her choir practice, right? Guess we can go to church and bother her for it. Ugh. We head back down through town towards church. Damn, that whole thing was a disaster, huh? And this is gonna sound dumb, but you know what else kind of bites? Didn't even get to hang out, really. All three of us, I mean. You know, Noelle said she wanted to talk to you, but something about her look was kind of weird. Why? Why couldn't she just talk to you in front of me? What were you two talking about? The screen goes a soft pink, and there isn't really a choice on either side, no matter what we do. It wasn't about me, right? But, fine, I won't bring it up again. And from there, the scene carries forward as it would in a normal route. Now I'll show off the handful of opportunities you have to abort this conversation.
Okay, when the Shadow Mantle entity was mocking Chris, it was talking to Chris, not to the soul. Implying it's Chris who's collecting the Shadow Mantle and the Shadow Crystals, like that's their goal. And that also explains why Chris is scared of the little video game Chris, because it represents Snowgrave route, and given that we are literally physically controlling it, it represents, you know, us and what we do. Something Chris is very upset by and terrified of. And in that route, we end up destroying everyone to get power. This is all very specific behavior, which is interesting. Before the chapters were released, I was working on a theory about the nature of the weird route. And the idea that it's not purely a violence route. It's something more complex than that. Which is interesting. Because this is clearly some sort of very intense behavior with very clear, intense purpose behind it. Like, when you click proceed and equip and all this stuff, this is stuff being presented to you as the player. Like, I'm not selecting from a dialogue tree to corrupt Noelle, you know? Not in, like I'm not getting 20 options and I keep picking the equip, go dark mode, you know, options. These are the, like, we literally get to a point where it's just the same options, you know? And it's interesting because that kind of implies that, I don't know, it feels like that's a point where the player and the soul are diverging a bit. Like, we shepherd the soul around to a point, but, like, we didn't make Chris's hair change color. We didn't make them stab Noelle. Not in so much as, you know, like, yes, we kind of did, in the sense that we pressed the button, but, like, we didn't choose the details. Like, there's too many there's a huge difference in terms of content of this route and the No Mercy route. In the No Mercy route, it's all about violence and killing. And all that violence and killing is what brings Kara back from the grave and creates the demon that is Kara. But in this, your machinations are not simple violence. It's clearly something much more than that. Much more complex. And it's kind of... I don't know what to make of it. Fascinating.
And the Snowgrave alternate? Nowhere. Your words just now's got a peculiar ring to 'em. I can tell. You're having some relationship trouble, ain't you?
Again. Romantic connotation. A weird, terrifying romantic connotation.
I've seen it all, you know. At your age, if things go cold, you might think your whole world's ended. But you know, things go on. You'll grow up. You'll just keep living. Everything will be alright, sooner or later. Similar to the way Gerson...
That's interesting. Because Gerson's kind of a font of wisdom. And him mentioning the cold is interesting. Because that almost seems to be a bit of reassurance that everything will work out. But, like, is he right? Or is he wrong? I don't know.
You're really just going through the motions, huh? Something tough's going on with you. I can tell that sort of thing. And now, you still gotta go through your day. Still gotta talk, fight, do homework. I bet it all feels pointless, don't it? It's almost an insult that the Earth's still turning. But don't give up, even if you gotta do those motions. Trying to find something, anything in them, that means a little something. You hear? The sugar is added, and same as the main route, we have the choice of whether or not to drink it. First, choosing not to drink on a normal route. Well, if tea's not your fancy, how about shine? How about an apple? You heard something being placed in front of you. Chris, here, I'll help. Here, I'm holding it in front of your teeth lurched forward to bite the apple. A sweet sensation spread through your mouth. That's right, just take a bite, Chris. Each time you felt a new piece of the apple, your teeth would bite it.
The way that's being phrased, the way that said the teeth lurched forward, I don't like the visual. I'm imagining like Chris's teeth just like, I don't know, protruded out like a horse and just went and horrifying. Gerson's wisdom is interesting here. It's very interesting. Because regardless of what we are doing to the game by choosing these routes, Chris goes through a different arc depending on our actions. Chris is a different person, but our actions impact their story. And that's interesting.
And now, choosing not to drink and a Snowgrave. Starting from the moment your teeth lurch...
I thought the apple was part of the Snowgrave route. I was like, that's specific.
Forward to bite the apple. A sweet sensation spread through your mouth. That's right, just take a bite, Chris. Chris, don't eat so fast. Chris, don't eat the... Your teeth clenched into something small and hard. Crack! A bitter taste spread through your mouth. Don't eat the core, Chris. You felt a handkerchief wiping your face. Chris, you can, open your eyes, you know. And from here the scene continues, this time, obviously, with no apple core left. I think likely representing the idea of using something up in its entirety, spending its body or flesh all the way down through its core. Like,
yeah, that makes sense, because was all used up was a concept in, the Snowgrave route, or rather in the secret boss shadow mantle thing that clearly foreshadows the secret route. Or, you know what I mean. Foreshadows the Snowgrave route. Okay. That's interesting. Chris just kept eating. Now, on a personality level for Chris, it's almost like they're so desperate for something that's pleasant that they couldn't hold back and ended up eating more than they should. But on a larger scale, the concept of using everything up, of using things until they are no longer of use to you, it's similar to the No Mercy route, where you're just using people as free XP. But there's differences too. The way we're using Noelle is not to... I don't know, it's more complex. It's more complex in a way that's hard to judge. Because Kara was not this complex in their machinations. They just killed. I don't know. This could still be demonic behavior.
On the Snowgrave route, you have the added option to think of Noelle. Your screen fades to black. Ralsei begins to walk away. There's a lone red pixel on the screen. And in a shaky voice. Thank you. A flash of red. Chris, hey Chris, you okay? You were just standing there with your eyes closed. Then you just started breathing hard and... Here, get up. Ralsei, where the heck were you? Huh? I was...
That's interesting. Because the Thorn Ring imparts trance. It's mind control, effectively. We're brainwashing her.
This, of course, makes me think of the page seen in the Spamton's Silence ARG, deltarune.com/chapter4/thank you. This was the one where people were originally able to submit their email and the guess of a specific number, but now only reads thank you. The thank you page was also the one that was found through the me clue, tying these things all together just in a way we don't fully see yet.
That's an interesting thought, because the sweepstakes have, and anything involving Spamton, ties back to Gaster, you know? So the idea that the Snowgrave route ties back to Gaster is interesting. But how does the freaking egg fit in? The Eggmen, the Forgotten Man. He has so many Gaster adjacent attributes, you know? I don't know. This is interesting.
And on the Snowgrave route, if you choose Noelle, Chris kicks the display. Hey, Chris, don't! Look, I like breaking stuff too, but your name's on here too, idiot. When inspecting the keyboard in the church office.
Yeah. That was Chris lashing out, which is interesting.
And instead, on the Snowgrave route... Hey, Chris! What happened? You started saying something. Then you, bit the hell out of your hand. Damn. That's gonna bruise. Damn, I shouldn't have told that story. Forget it. Towards the very end...
Yeah, Chris is so angry with the soul in this route. And every time we try to do anything that upsets Chris specifically, because they clearly love playing piano, they get mad. Interesting.
And instead, here. I want to believe again. I want to believe it can change, that there isn't just one ending. But what would that be? If there was something else, what would it be? And how do we know it wouldn't be something even worse? Chris, never mind. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Chris, you can go to the fountain now. Susie's waiting. And at the very end of the...
Yeah, okay. What if it's something worse? I mean, that is certainly laying the groundwork for a No Mercy style, and then the universe was destroyed, which is even worse than a time loop. Because at least in the time loop, people still exist. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That would seem to imply, I think, pretty strongly that the soul, whatever this entity is, its plan is to groom Noelle into being a weapon against the angel. Like, this demonic force can't consume this universe as long as the angel reigns supreme. And the only way to surpass such an entity is to gain so much power that you can, surpass them. And so the usual strategy of pure violence is insufficient. Because one thing Kara never had to fight in Undertale was Azrael, like as a god, as the angel. So it may be that they're simply not powerful enough to do that, which makes sense because your stats have a limit. Even when Kara attacks the universe or whatever and it does 99999 damage, it's still a measurable number. Whereas Azrael as a god had infinite attack and infinite defense, which implies that gods in this universe, this multiverse, are a step beyond whatever demons are. And demons, are clearly involved in this route. Which is interesting.
Chris, are you there? Then I'll just leave a message. You are going to the festival tomorrow, aren't you? I just wanted to confirm. Noelle said she's really looking forward to seeing you. Everything cuts to black, and the lone red pixel first teased in the spammed-in Silence ARG fades into view. This continuation of the Snowgrave route isn't nearly as involved as what we saw in Chapter 2, but it continues to play with the idea of choice, that we need to repeatedly insist on committing to this path. The game presents numerous opportunities to move away from this route, brushing off everything we previously put Noelle through, and this...
It's interesting, because the voice of Carol is very explicit. Whereas the voice that we hear that may or may not represent the Roaring Knight is much less clear. Like in the ending where Chris tries to climb out the window, the voice is unclear like what it is. And now the more that we hear, now that we have an actual confirmed conversation with Carol on the phone, that confuses things further because she doesn't talk like that. Yes, she was very brief and snippy in her conversation in the house, but that was because she was mad. But in normal conversation, she talks in full sentences. She doesn't sound like whatever the entity on the phone is. Which seems to suggest that whoever that entity is at this point it seems likely it's the Roaring Knight. Not Carol. Because Carol clearly doesn't know what's going on with Chris. Which is interesting. Because you'd think Chris would keep her abreast of the situation. Fascinating.